Ain't no thing.
So
Yeah,
how's everybody's weeks been?
why don't you do that over again?
No
I,
contact from the feds or from any government agents. No armed bureaucrats had any words with me, so it's a good week.
nice. You're looking good over there. Looking like you're getting ready for your nice traveling. Ready to call Montevideo part of your past, huh?
I'm packing it up. Yeah, we're eating everything in the fridge and getting ready for the next leg of our trip, which is in Argentina for a month, and then I'll be hitting the Shire. So I'll do reporting on my blog, thederekj.com, along the way. You can see my travels, and if I do have any encounters with any law enforcers, that's where I'll live stream it.
Nice. I'm excited to hear all about it. It's gonna be it's gonna be quite a journey. I'm jealous. I wish I could have done that in my life. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Maybe in my retirement
You
years.
still can, man. It's not hard.
I got a wife and two kids at home. We got jobs. Like we can't.
So what?
It's not easy. Like it's been taking months and months just to plan for Porkfest.
Yeah, I
Just for
understand.
me to leave for 4 days. Like
That's true.
it's really once the kids are older, yeah. But I would have loved to have like all the people have jer- do like backpacking while they're in college and stuff. I never really did any of that.
Well,
Oh,
the truth is, I'm here starting a business, so it's not all like hammocks and martinis, you know. So I'm working every day.
Yeah, but you're seeing different parts of the world. That's pretty cool. I've never left
Yeah.
the U.S.
Oh, okay.
oh,
So what
wow.
about you, Matt? How's your week been? You had any contact with law enforcement? Uh-oh.
Well, honestly, I kind of want to save that for a little bit later. I don't think there's enough time right now for us to get into that. We have another person who has another take on it as well. I think we should save some of the juiciness for a little later.
Oh, well, I mean, you personally, have you had any police call you? I just got a Hey Derek, I just got a message saying that the code might not have been changed on the Facebook or on the YouTube page or on the
Oh,
show
really?
page.
All right, I'll check on that while we're on
Yeah.
air. I'll fix it.
All right. But yeah, I know I had some contact this week. We had a good time. Me and Rick went out cop blocking earlier. We had our,
Today?
well, no, a few days ago. We cop blocked a speed trap
Yeah.
that was set up, and we were real cocky about it. We pulled right in front of the cop, parked right next to him, got out with our, well, he was like probably maybe 10 feet away, got out with signs, and walked up to the corner and just totally shut him down for a little bit and annoyed him. He sat there and gave us dirty looks until he drove away.
Wow.
It was a good time.
Hey, I can confirm that I see me on the copblock.org/show page, and I'm
Okay.
wearing this shirt, so it looks like it's live.
Nice. So yeah, you
Cool.
can see the show live at copblock.org/show, or if you are looking for other ways to listen, if you have an Android or iPhone, the LRN app is awesome. I love how clear it is with that. That's the best quality. I don't think the YouTube quality is the best. I think that the LRN feed's better.
Definitely.
But we have some top stories this week.
I'm having major technical difficulties over here, guys. Just letting you know.
You sound good
Oh,
now. You sound
well,
good
we
right now.
we can see and hear you in your awesome studio, looking sharp.
Oh,
Yeah,
You're,
okay. Yeah,
obviously
I'm
you have
having
some
problems with the
updates.
video feed.
You have some updates happening around you. It looks like you have brand new space set up there. You have a brand new podcast set up. Uh, what's on the news? You want to fill everybody in?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a while back, there was a Oath Accountability Live. It was a show that we had been doing for a while, and we wanted to kind of shake it up and go a different direction. So we decided to start Cop Blast Podcast. It's every Monday night at 9:30 p.m. You can check us out on our YouTube page. Um, we just basically going on and taking a look at stories around, giving our comments on it, thinking about how we would have done things or how things should have been done realistically. Um, and yeah, just come on over and check us out on our
I really love how easy these are being set up nowadays. That you can make podcasts
YouTube. It's
this easy, and you're really able to
Top Blast Podcast.
you're really able to get the message out so well. Like we have all these shows starting everywhere, and we have the ability to reach so many different people over the airwaves, and I just love it. Well, we have the top stories of this
Yeah,
week.
absolutely.
The top stories of this week. And this episode is actually called Trials and Tribulations, and the top stories is exactly that. More than one Copblock group this week alone has been on trial, has appeared before judges. Some of them have good news. Some of them have some bad news. And in our next segment, we're actually going to be bringing some guests on that were part of my trial. I finally went to court this week.
What happened? Obviously, you're not in jail.
Yeah, I'm obviously not in jail.
Or are you?
Well, we had planned.
Yeah.
There really wasn't jail time on the table for this. We had gotten. I mean, anytime you appear before a man in a robe, they have the power. They have the power in their special rooms to wave their magic wand and say, "Hey, any crime you can go to jail for. Just I can say that you're in contempt, which means I have the magical power to make anything you do that I don't like a crime today."
Yeah, their magic wand is the state's dildo.
Anytime before you appear before the sorcerers, you do have the chance to go to jail. But on this particular offense, it wasn't. Even if I had gotten guilty, I was 90% chance looking at just the fine for it.
Remind us your offense, alleged offense.
My offense? Yeah, I was a dangerous criminal. I was filming police. Shame on me.
No, nobody does that. Only wacko terrorists film police.
Yeah,
they didn't like any part of what they were doing, so they ended up just complaining about the whole thing. It was a pretty funny experience watching just them get torn down. I can't wait to hear these guys just.
I mean, we could briefly touch on it because when we come back from the break, we're going to be hearing the other co-defendant's perspective. So I can give you a little bit of my perspective, and I can just tell you, our lawyers worked out payment arrangements so that they can get paid down the road. But I would have loved to have paid out of pocket to have watched what I watched.
Yeah.
I would have bought tickets to that because it was just. I mean, I dedicated it to Dio's injustice because they just destroyed a whole entire state trooper barracks, one after another, just wrecked them on the stand.
That's awesome. Matt, you were there? Did they charge admission?
Well, they did it.
Just that good. But it was really a good.
Yeah, it was. It sucks that your audio is having this much issue. Matt, if I were you, I might even just try cutting your video off and going straight audio. Okay. That might work. But we're going to be cutting to a commercial break in a moment. But I did want to say, yeah, it's great to finally see justice. And when my lawyers went in there, those cops had no idea that we had not one but two Philadelphia high-priced lawyers that wanted this case, that volunteered to take this case to rip these people apart for their violations of their oaths. So we got to sit back and watch justice be done. We'll be right back with our other co-defendants and their perspectives of watching. Nice. I reset my clock again, and it is right on time now.
Cool. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with my computer.
I can hear you now, dude.
Okay.
You want to try to turn it on now that we're on commercial break and see if you go to like the lowest quality possible?
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Hey, Severin, while we're talking about podcasty stuff, I noticed that last week's episode was an audio taken from the YouTube. I was wondering if you had a different recording of last week's episode that maybe you
I
got from your mixer.
I don't. I only record it. I only get the YouTube recording. I don't actually get a recording from the mixer because of how it's set up. It's like it wouldn't have a complete recording.
Hmm.
I'm either playing our audio through the mixer or LRN's audio, not both at the same time. That's why during commercials, I am actually switching the audio source and playing the main mix with us minused out.
Hmm.
It's crazy how I have it set up.
Yeah, I wonder if it could be easy to adjust it so that it would be possible to get a full mixed recording on your end. Hey, I know. Do you use TeamSpeak?
We're oh no, never mind. Yes, I use TeamSpeak. That's how I connect to LRN.
Oh, okay.
There's a feature on TeamSpeak that lets you record both things that are going out. It records everything that TeamSpeak hears.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so theoretically, you could. Do you have it open now?
I do. It's playing the commercials,
Yeah.
and
If you
we're
want to,
broadcasting over it.
if you want to try it, I think there's a button.
Hey, I need a link for Scott to get him in here.
Oh, okay. Should be the
Here.
link at the top of the
Oh,
page.
you know what? I have it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I have TeamSpeak too.
Yeah, if you have, I was looking. There is the RSS feed. That's just our entire show on LRN's side minus the commercials.
Yeah.
That's the only other way I can get the audio at this point.
I used to do it this way. For some reason, maybe it's because my mixer was set up the same way yours is, or maybe there was some other reason, but I used to grab the mixdown from TeamSpeak itself, because TeamSpeak combines the audio that that we broadcast and also the LRN side.
Huh. Does Rick have a link?
Scott,
How's it going?
I'll send it to him.
what's your shirt say? Oh, free Dio! No
Yep.
way!
Yep.
I like your setup.
Oh, thanks.
Dude, is that a fucking fireplace behind you?
Yeah.
Who, me? No. No, just the...
What is that to your right? What is that red thing lit up? That thing looks awesome.
That's my
He's
computer.
on fire.
That's my computer.
That looks trippy as hell.
His computer's a Scion.
Hey, it looks like you're a Clerks fan.
Yep.
I love that movie. All
Yeah.
Kevin Smith.
Yep, I'm gonna go visit the secret stash soon.
Cool.
Alright, we're coming back in 5.
Okay, cool.
So, what's up, everybody?
What's up, Rick?
How's it going, Rick?
What's
You guys
up,
hear me all right?
Yeah, we're coming back, Scott.
We are back with our guests, my co-defendants, the notorious.
Microphone's out there, bud. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on with Sever and his
Are
microphone.
you
Okay, there he
was
goes.
my
He's
microphone
back.
working? My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry, your camera. was
Oh,
off.
okay. Yeah, I saw that. Well, we're back with our guests, the notorious co-defendants for my trial, the other guys that were filming police. You bad boys, you. We weren't even filming police, actually. We were filming a building. Come on.
An
Oh.
inanimate object.
It is 2016.
Standing on pavement.
They were treating their barracks like it's Area 51. with
They really
bullshit
are.
signs
They really
and
are.
everything.
And they came across that way too to the judge. Like I was just talking, guys. This is to the people, to the listeners. This is Rick Gonzalez of Allentown Copblock, founder of Allentown Copblock.
What's going on, guys?
And Scott Marshall, the founder of Oath Accountability Project
How's it going?
and co-founder of Carbon County Copblock. And we were all just recently, yesterday actually, in front of a judge for filming the outside of a police station. We were charged with trespassing. So, how do you guys feel about the outcome? Like while you were sitting there in a courtroom, I know Rick, I know you were nervous going in. You weren't expecting much justice.
Well, first of
No,
all, before we get into that, guys, I want to ask, when did this actually take place? When you guys got these charges? Like, what
I was
happened?
to say it was October 15th or
Yeah,
16th?
I believe it was October 15th.
And you guys just went, March 1st?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
they
continue.
were really
I just wanted to-
stalling on that one.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to get a timeline here.
Well, the reason that it took so long is because we requested evidence that they, in the end, got away with never giving. They never gave their evidence, and no one was. If this was one of us that refused to give our evidence, we would definitely be charged with contempt of court. That's a jailable offense. The judge can throw you in a cell and let you come out every few days and ask you to comply. And if you refuse to comply, that could be an open-ended jail sentence. But for the police, they were allowed to deny a subpoena. So we went in front of the judge with no evidence. And it was a little jarring. I mean, the first thing our lawyers did was ask for a dismissal based on that, and the judge didn't grant that.
I just want to point out that instead of going directly for the dismissal, they waited until there was a sworn-in witness, and then they went for the dismissal because they wanted to attach jeopardy.
Yeah, this was a really cool tip. I never knew about this before that day. That was really important. They purposely waited till they swore in the first witness because that means the case had started and they can't come back against us. If the judge had dismissed pre-trial, then they could have just refiled with new evidence against us. So the lawyer made a really smart legal move there. And it's just it's the little legal tricks that lawyers learn in their 8 years of studying law.
Yeah.
I mean, the cops do 6 weeks, and half of it's physical. So, yeah, they do 6 weeks, and they know the law. But the lawyers, they take 8 years to study this stuff front and back, and I really saw it. I never knew, like, all the legal tricks. I thought, like, studying Google and stuff makes you knowledgeable enough, but, man, those guys are good.
Yeah,
They really. He knew exactly the wording. He knew how to act. He knew
Every objection, and every single one threw them off just that much more, and their timing and their confidence, everything. Every little objection was.
It broke their confidence down each time they spoke.
he had a state trooper yelling at a lawyer in front of a judge. I already answered that. And the judge turned to the state trooper and said, "No, you didn't. Answer the question. Overruled."
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any video of this trial?
No, unfortunately, okay, here's what we were granted. Here's what we were met with walking into the courtroom. Brand new signs all around the courthouse and to every entrance. Brand new laminated signs that said anyone caught with recording equipment would be held in contempt of court. Just for us.
Well, you got to understand, too, actually walking into the court, there were 4 troopers, and then an off-duty trooper, then the station house manager or sergeant, then in a suit with a lapel pin, like an American flag lapel pin. Like a lot of people showed up for this.
Yeah, like they had half the courtroom with just these officials. Like this was amazing. This was a traffic ticket, dude. I'd never seen nothing like this. This was like a murder trial. Like they pulled out all the stops.
Except the DA. Except a DA.
They had sheriffs. They had sheriffs in a district court. I don't know if you've ever appeared in like a regular district court, Derek, but to have sheriffs there, like
a bailiff, is that what you're?
No,
Yeah.
they actually had sheriffs, the ones that transport prisoners. They requested the sheriffs be there.
Oh yeah, yes they
Yeah.
did, and they also had bailiffs. I've been to this court a couple times, and never before had I seen a bailiff in there.
No, I've never seen a bailiff in a district court in my life. You go in there with cops usually for tickets. So what is the need for that much security? But they rolled out all the stops because us dangerous cop blockers were filming a police station.
They usually have bailiffs and sheriffs at the district court in Keene, but I don't know how common it is in Pennsylvania.
It's a tiny little court in a tiny little town.
Yeah. And it was definitely special treatment just for us, is what the point is. Like
it sounds like it, but I'm surprised none of your posse or anyone else in the audience who might have been a ringer didn't bring any kind of audio or recording equipment or something to get that on the record.
There was a point where the judge granted permission for Scott to turn on his phone to show a picture. And the judge specifically asked Scott a line of interrogation questions. Is this picture set to open a secret app that will record me when I open it?
I'm not talking about doing it by their permission. I'm talking about doing it without asking permission.
They were on top of it. If somebody would have been recording, that judge would have had their ass locked up in a heartbeat.
Yeah. If you're doing it right, they wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even a big room. It was a small room, and there was a lot of.
Well, listen to what happened. The lawyer asked me for the picture of what happened, and I had it on my phone, the picture of the sign that they were specifically talking about. So I turned it on, and then the cop was like, oh, yeah, by the way, I do have it for your convenience, like he was doing us a favor. So I turned it off, and then the cop was looking for it, and the judge and the lawyer was like, all right, you might need to turn it back on. So I turned it back on, and this on-off triggered some sort of update, and the cop found the picture, and it was like, okay, turn your phone off. But my phone's sitting there updating, and it's going to make noise, so I just stick it under my leg. And a few minutes later, the bailiff takes out a notepad, writes a note to the judge, and hands it to him, and he's like, Mr. Marshall, are you recording me? And I'm like, no, my phone's updating. I don't know what to do.
They made him take it out of the room and go give it to one of the employees at the front desk.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was some new level stuff. Like this judge was on something, not trying to not be recorded.
Yeah.
But that I would condone breaking the law or anything, but they do have audio recorders and video recorders that look like pens and glasses and everything else. That you could walk in with.
With the current temperature of cop blockers being targeted, I have a feeling we would have ended up in jail at one point if we would have been caught doing it, even if we published it later. But listen, we're going to be right back with more of this and an awesome story about the cops. You guys want to stay on for one more segment to talk about the cheating state troopers?
Sure. Yeah.
And we'll come back and we'll pick up where we left off.
Is my audio alright, or do I need to recenter my microphone?
No, you sound perfect.
Your audio's really good, Scott.
They were trying to get me, man. They kept saying, Gonzalez was real uncooperative. He wouldn't give us his name, and
yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna play some commercials.
Yeah. Oh man. Which that was a lie, because they went in my pockets and took my ID.
Hey, I'm going to play some commercials, so can you do me a favor and not try to talk over them? And we'll be right back. You'll hear the commercials coming to an end.
.org. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updates, references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market, making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
We are back. We have Rick Gonzalez from Allentown Copblock and Scott Marshall from the Oath Accountability Project, my co-defendants.
Woo. What up, guys?
Bringing justice to the Lehigh Valley area and the East Coast.
We do what we can.
Trying.
We do our best.
You know, I mean, it's kind of a hollow victory, though, knowing that Dio's sitting in a jail cell right now, and knowing that the other top story for the other trial that happened, we have a guest later, Texas cop blockers just had a similar experience as Dio. I mean, it's just...
I mean, if you think about it, Dio was on his way home. We went there we went to the police station to take video. And, you know, we're out and Dio's in because that judge, you know, wanted to make an example.
Totally. And that's exactly what happened. It's about making an example that cop blockers are not appreciated. That's what it is. It's like they're making us out to be like these terrorist troublemakers, and me personally, I just want to stand by and make sure that the public's safe, that their rights are not being violated in a traffic stop, that the cops are not being overzealous and harming people.
Right.
So we left off with our lawyers wrecking them, and we were talking a little bit about some of the questions and some of the line of like the style that our lawyer were using. Scott, do you wanna pick up, or Rick, like from your perspectives?
I mean, the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm trying not to laugh because the cops are just getting, you know, angrier and angrier. And the first thing that he did, which I wouldn't have thought to do, was to sequester, you know, all of the witnesses, so they all testify separately.
Yeah, this was genius. He knew that the room was full of people that were going to testify, and the first order of business was to ask the judge to sequester them, meaning that that they couldn't hear each other's testimony beforehand. And this was great because each one of them had a slightly different story, and it just made them out to be liars. If they hadn't done this, this was a brilliant move. I wouldn't have thought to do this without a lawyer. So anybody taking notes, request a sequester if you have multiple people in the room that are going to testify. This was just awesome that they were able to get them to leave the room and sit outside so that they couldn't hear anything in between the testimonies.
break up that blue line a little bit.
Yeah. So go ahead. I just wanted to clarify that for the listeners what that was.
I've got a funny note too. If you're representing yourself, whatever that means, in court, and you've got someone on the sequester or on the witness list, you can sequester them even if you decide later not to call them, and that can really ruin their day and be really fun for you. So they have to sit and wait for the whole trial in some room somewhere where they can't talk to anybody or use their phone, and you don't ever have to call them as a witness. So you could use the rules against them. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that. I definitely will use that in the future.
I did that to one of the prosecutors in my Live for Your Dance trial. Like he happened to be on my witness list just because I put 40+ witnesses, like pretended like I was going to call them all, but then I only called like 2 or 3. It's like, why not?
Yeah. They're going to waste your time, waste theirs back.
That was the prime objective, yeah.
And run that bill up, too, because each and every one of those cops gets paid as if they're on the clock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, because, like, I guess people...
Get back in their pocket.
Yeah. I don't want to reward them. And then I don't know, the tax extorted are the ones who actually end up having to pay for it.
Yeah.
Hey, so I got a question for you guys. Any of you guys hear about the 29 police cadets down in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania that got kicked out for cheating their Pennsylvania's state trooper exam?
I think I read something about that.
This wouldn't be the same state troopers we were just in court with, would it?
Came from the same school.
Well, I mean, I seem to recall the rookie of that group explaining to us while we were in custody about how the state troopers are in a class above the rest.
How there were 3 Marines that quit.
Yeah, that
they were like, this is too hard.
Are you sure they didn't work at a marina?
Yeah, well, yeah, when we were in custody, when we were in cuffs, they were just trying to butter us up, like trying to teach us that the cops aren't all bad. They're really good cops, and like state troopers are a class above the rest, and just going on and on. Meanwhile, we're in custody illegally, so I mean,
each time I see Trooper Bauer, he tries to give me that rhetoric. Oh, don't lump us in with the local guys. They're the ones that really need watching, and we're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They make up charges way better than all the other cops.
I mean, the local guys didn't mess with us that day, but the state guys, the staties, they got us.
I decided, we talked about this last week, like, what do we call cops or law enforcers, or like, because all of the names or terms for them sound way too honorable to me. Law enforcer or officer, it makes them sound official. I decided that the least positive term for them could be armed bureaucrats. Because who likes a bureaucrat? And then on top of it, they're armed? Like, why would they be armed? So, I'm going to try that out for a little bit. What do you guys think?
One of my favorite terms has always been mistaken bacon.
Yeah.
I never think to whip it out, but I've heard that before. It's mistaken bacon, and I always thought that was really funny.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I like police employee or...
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too.
Or policy enforcer, or I don't know.
Okay, these are good.
I like some of yours too. The cross-dressers. I was actually when they all walked into the courtroom together, all dressed alike. I was actually sitting back thinking, just in your voice, just going through the back of my head, the armed cross-dressers. I wanted to giggle.
Cross-dressers. The men in the robes. They're wearing like dresses.
Yeah.
Black dresses.
I always take every opportunity to call their uniform a costume. They fucking hate it.
Yeah.
They fucking hate it.
Halloween.
It is a costume. They know it.
Well,
I call them robots.
Back to this cheating scandal, guys. The honorable state police, the Pennsylvania State Police Academy, effectively forced out 29 cadets. 29 in one class.
How many were in the class? Wasn't it like 70 of them?
70 in the class. It says 3 weeks before the class was scheduled to graduate, they were kicked out for cheating. They were blatantly cheating. The commissioner, Tyree Blocker, gave only a few details about the probe into the 144th graduating class, saying the investigation is ongoing. The nearly 70 cadets remaining in the class are scheduled to graduate in mid-March. We're working very diligently at bringing some closure to the investigation, Blocker told reporters. However, I want to be clear. We do not leave any stone unturned when it comes to the integrity of the Pennsylvania State Police. I'm sorry, guys. This is
Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner's name is Blocker?
Yeah.
Does that mean he's the top cop blocker?
Well, actually, Blocker's a pretty common name around this area, surprisingly.
We're all blockers.
The integrity of the state police is just unbelievable to me, because if 29 of them were doing it in one class, that just goes to show you that this was just a rampant thing every class.
Yep.
And they get caught red-handed.
So they're going to investigate the other tests from before that?
No, this has never happened before. Sure, the cheated, but this is a once.
Turn around and say, "Well, we weeded out the bad apples like everybody's asked for, but we left the good ones in." It's like, no, you just didn't catch them. They were better at cheating.
Yeah,
you had a better plan.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that a little bit of justice has been brought to that small area of state police there, because I mean,
that's the only place where Pennsylvania trains their state troopers. It's the only place. There's only one barracks where they train them in Pennsylvania.
Well, this is the kind of people we're dealing with on the East Coast, guys. But thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for your service. Allentown Copblock can be found on Facebook and on YouTube. Oath Accountability Project, the same thing. And make sure that our co-hosts, you tune into their show. It is Cop Blast Podcast.
Yep. Monday nights. 9:30 Eastern. Have a good night, you guys.
All right, have a good night.
Name. Peace.
Peace.
Pizza. Where's pizza? That's a funny story, Severin. Thanks for posting that on Copblock. I enjoyed that.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. I wondered, I mean, how rampant is this across other places? I heard that New York had actually lowered their standards because too many people were failing the test. So they're like, well, everyone,
we all know that they automatically disqualify intelligent officers. I mean, this is not a joke. This is not trolling cops. This is not BS. They really legitimately don't want people with their IQs above a certain level, and they weed them out with their applications. Yep. They have to be a mid-level average IQ, right in that nice little don't ask too many questions range. They don't want thinkers. They want stormtroopers.
Basically.
Yeah, well, they will be robots pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. They teach them. The teachers probably coach them through how to cheat. It's probably.
No, I mean, they'll really be robots. Like Rick was joking, he calls them robots. I'm saying, like, how long until RoboCop for real? Like, all the people will be fired, and it'll just be a program.
Yeah. Well, I actually just posted a video. They just made the first humanoid robot, like real deal humanoid robot that could run through the woods and like
Boston
pick
Dynamics,
stuff up.
right? Seems awesome.
Totally. And we will see within our lifetime robot police.
I just want to know how good are they at sex.
Hey, right?
I need me some sex worker robots.
Is that cheating?
They have some crazy technology. Okay, all right. Since we're on commercial, listen to this. I just saw this the other day, and I was like, "What?"
I was shopping for some sex robots the other day.
They took like having an internet relationship to a new level. They have a like electronic, like I don't know what term I want to use. Electronic organs for each partner that you hooked in through your USB. And whatever you do to your side, like when you put in, the other side goes the other way.
No way.
So you can literally have sex with someone across the internet now.
Via USB?
No, via USB. Make sure you have a high-speed connection because you might get a little choppy.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're using 3.0 on that.
Oh man.
I don't think I would want 2.0 going there. I want to feel authentic.
Wow, that's a funny story.
Yeah, they have all kinds of crazy stuff. The virtual reality stuff that you can experience what it's like as the other sex, and like
How could that work?
it somehow it like hooks into what you're seeing. Your body thinks that you're experiencing it, so
Yep.
it actually releases like it tricks your brain into experiencing what you're seeing.
Wow, that's pretty trippy.
Yeah,
I could do that.
I watch all these cool documentaries on like all the cool technologies that are coming out.
He
Well,
lies. He's just searching deep into the dark web for porn.
Yeah, it was a pop-up.
Well, for gay guys, it's not really too different. So.
True.
Not that I need virtual reality for that.
Yeah, you have your guy.
Yeah, I wonder what it's like to be a guy.
All right, we're about to be back. We are back.
What's up, everybody?
Moving right along. Anybody who's listening can follow along on the Copblock Radio Facebook page. All the stories we're talking about will be posted live there. You can get links to see the full stories or any videos that are attached to them. We're going to jump into a story written by Kelly Patterson on copblock.org. Evidence suggests Indiana Cummings' in-custody death was a homicide. You can find...
Here we go again.
Yeah. The date of the incident, it was out of Buffalo, New York, for immediate release, February 26, 2016.
Yeah, it happened. It said January 1st through January 17th. She was in there for that, and she
So I guess
died on the 17th.
Yeah, I guess they after the investigation just posted on the 26th the findings.
Yeah. It's saying on the 17th, 2016, Erie County Sheriff Timothy Howard states a medical event happened. A medical event happened, and India was transported to the Buffalo General Hospital. However, by then she had a broken arm, broken ribs, severe dehydration, a blood clot in her leg that would have required an amputation of her leg, and her kidneys were failing. She was also brain dead and in cardiac arrest. Sheriff Howard fails to mention what conceivable medical event occurred that could have caused those conditions. She was in there. She was in jail and just basically shows up to the hospital just beaten, dehydrated, and needing body parts cut off. Well, it turns out coming in. Let's see, it says here, on February 21st, Miss Cummings' remaining organs crashed and she died. Howard's and the acting Erie County District Attorney Mike Flaherty have done exactly what you'd expect them to do when a young black girl dies in such a tragic and suspicious manner in the county. They did absolutely nothing. Howard went on record today saying that he is more than satisfied by everything that he has seen so far relating to her care. However, when a clearly incapacitated individual is put into county custody, it is the county's duty to care for her, as she cannot care for herself. Here, best case scenario, under the county was allowed to wither away and die in a 3-week period, having nothing in her system upon admission to the hospital. Legally speaking, that conduct would constitute criminal negligence and homicide. Worst case scenario, India was beaten until there was nothing left of her, deprived of necessary food and water in that 16-day time frame. That conduct depraved indifference of murder. Either way, there is criminal liability present in this girl's demise. If there was some white doctor's kid who was in such a precarious mental state, he would have been hospitalized as opposed to left. And I agree. So
now, are they claiming that her. Are they claiming that this is a homicide because they should have prevented her because her mental state caused her to do this to herself?
Well,
Or are they claiming that she was actually physically beaten by these cops?
Well, they don't know. That's the problem.
Aren't there cameras in these places? How is it a mystery what happens in a secure facility like that?
And why is her mental state so important in this?
This is true.
Well, I could understand why I would want to mention if someone's bouncing off the walls, like, oh, hey, that's why they got the broken bone, But prove it. Why don't you show the video?
That's why I ask, what are they claiming? Because to me, what they're doing is bringing up a lot of mental state, a lot of the stuff about where her head was at, to try to deflect whatever kind of responsibility off of the officers.
Exactly.
Oh, she was absolutely nuts. She was stark raving mad. She was pounding herself into the walls. There was nothing they could do. Is that their position, or is their position, we didn't do nothing. We don't know what happened.
I didn't do nothing, Mom.
We see this too often where somebody dies or somebody's horribly injured, and the whole story doesn't talk about the cops or where she was at. The whole story tells about her mental health, their criminal past, she was on probation for such and such. Who cares about any of that?
Right.
She was just horribly, horribly injured in police custody. Who's to blame?
Well, regardless, no matter what, the fact that it happened, like they said, they should be held accountable, and if they're not, that's gonna be a problem.
Well, we all know that they won't be held accountable. They're gonna deflect everything. I wonder if this is even. I wonder if anybody's even been questioned at this point in the department. If anybody's been laid off, are the officers on duty?
No. If anything, they're on administrative leave.
Well,
Let's be real.
Blows me away.
I think one of the important things to mention here is how she ended up in state custody. I don't know if you read this, forgive me, but he says Cummings, described as a typically calm person, was arrested 26 days ago after a series of rash acts brought upon, in part, her family said, by synthetic marijuana known as K2. It can trigger hallucinations, agitation, and violent behavior. Now, I haven't heard any of those things. I haven't heard that K2 can trigger hallucinations, agitation, and violent behavior, but I have heard it's crap, and people should stay away from it altogether. The real stuff it makes people calm. It's known for making people hungry and nonviolent. So
yeah, I've tried. I don't know where all this crazy stuff is that the media and the police and all these people are saying. They're always blaming these synthetic K2s. I've tried it. It's garbage. I never put my head through walls or acted insane on it. It's just it gives you a headache.
And
it makes you feel like crap, and it's not.
And it's legal, right? It's the legal alternative. And why was it even created for something that's already awesome and perfect? Is because the government made it illegal to have the real stuff that's good. So of course,
this stuff is illegal.
The government caused problem.
This stuff is illegal now too, and the only way that they're still able to hazily legally sell it is every time that the government goes and outlaws the chemical that gets the person high, they just change the chemical structure just by one molecule at a time, just to change it up enough to where they can repackage it and sell it. So it's never the same, and it's just getting more and more chemical laced, and that's. Well,
I say. No matter what happened, whether she went crazy, whether she was beaten, no matter what, we know that the beginning of this was prohibition. Prohibition is what started this ball rolling down this hill. So we don't know the details, but we know the end is she died after just a couple of days in jail for no one seems to know what. They're not specific, and the only thing they can point to is K2, which is a result of prohibition. So hopefully, I don't know what the end solution is, how to get rid of this damn prohibition.
This seems eerily similar to Sandra Bland, who they claimed had crazy high levels of marijuana in her system. That's why she killed herself. Yeah, I've been really, really high before, and I never wanted to kill myself. Maybe with some food, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess this is a good time to plug LEAP. Some of our listeners may be familiar with Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. Typically on Copblock, we don't support law enforcement, but when they're against prohibition, I think they're some of the best people in the best position to do that. Like they're where the rubber meets the road. If you're getting arrested for possession of marijuana or anything else, and if they're against prohibition, then it's a pretty good chance that they're the people who could actually end it. Like I don't trust the legislators. I don't think they're going to do it.
We've talked about departments that are actually taking a proactive stance on this and not arresting people. They're putting them into rehabs and programs like that.
Well, I applaud that.
Yep.
So
that's good.
What is this LEAP program? It's
like the superintendent of the jail that I stayed at in Keene, he's a member of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, and he does speaking tours and encourages some of the other jailers, the corrections officers, to become members of this organization. And it's really one of the only things that I think is helping to end prohibition is people who actually enforce the law saying, hey, we're against this, openly. It's not doing good. It's doing harm.
I can really appreciate that. I mean, here's my question, though. All these officers that are signed up for this program that are claiming to be a part of this, are they out making arrests? What do they do when they come across a drug bust?
Yeah, well, presumably they are making arrests, and I figure they feel that their hands are tied, that their options are limited. Of course, we know that they're not. They could just do the right thing, the moral thing, and leave people alone for crimes that don't harm create any victims.
Well, at least they're trying to take a stance. I mean, I'll give them credit for that, but it's to me, it's being a little hypocritical if you're going to still go out and make the arrests. But we're about to cut to our commercial break. We're going to come back with our second half with our phone call from Dio. We'll be right back.
What time does this one come back?
This is our long break.
6 after? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to disappear. I'm going to play commercials.
Okay, I'm going to get a drink of water.
I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
More Copblock Radio is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016. Silver is trading at $14.86 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,234 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $433. Antiwar.com reports the Ukrainian government issued a new decree Tuesday barring all government employees from publicly criticizing the government, any of its institutions, or any of their colleagues. The ban is part of a new ethics code on loyalty and threatens disciplinary actions against violators. Officials say the move to prevent criticism was necessary to restore public faith in the government after several damning leaks related to the Yatsenyuk government's inability to get widespread corruption under control. Indeed, just 2 weeks ago, Prime Minister Yatsenyuk was asked to resign by President Poroshenko and narrowly survived a vote of no confidence by the parliament shortly thereafter. The effort seemed designed to try to prevent a repeat vote. The decree did not get a great reaction, with a top figure in the economy ministry calling it in the tradition of Stalin and Fina. The economy minister resigned last month and issued a public statement at the time blasting widespread corruption. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Justice Department's fight to force iPhone maker Apple to aid them into breaking into the smartphone of one of the San Bernardino shooters shifted to Capitol Hill on Tuesday, where FBI Director James Comey faced hours of questioning from lawmakers. Tuesday's hearings lasted for 5 hours and featured Comey as well as an Apple attorney. Speaking first, Comey underscored the importance of the case and predicted that similar showdowns in the future between law enforcement agencies and technology companies will have the ability to make or break the government's fight against domestic terrorism. He warned that technology will soon make it virtually impossible for investigators to access critical personal communications from terror suspects. Justice officials say the FBI just needs the program to disable a security feature that resets and erases the phone's contents if an incorrect password is entered too many times. Apple, though, and other privacy advocates have resisted, saying the government's request poses a significant threat to consumer privacy and sets a dangerous precedent. On Monday, a federal magistrate in New York, in a different but similar case involving Apple, ruled that the company does not have to comply with government requests intended to mine data from a suspect's cell phone. Although a different case, the decision handed Apple an important legal victory in the matter that could heavily influence the outcome of the San Bernardino case. The judge in New York said Congress had previously rejected a bill to allow law enforcement agencies the authority to force companies into bypassing security features on behalf of investigators. You can support FPP Radio by joining the FANS program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. To learn more or to join the FANS program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Hillary Clinton took big steps toward securing their party's presidential nominations on Tuesday with a series of state-by-state victories, but their rivals vowed to keep on fighting. On Super Tuesday, the 2016 campaign's biggest day of state-by-state nominating contest, Trump and Clinton proved themselves the undisputed frontrunners to succeed Democratic President Barack Obama. Now they are under pressure to show they can unify voters in their respective parties before the November 8th election, and in Trump's case, avoid a potentially disastrous split in the Republican Party. Trump won 7 states, adding to a sense of momentum he had built last month by winning 3 of the first 4 contests. Trump's main rival, U.S. Senators Ted Cruz of Texas and Marco Rubio of Florida, said they were determined to remain in the race. Cruz won his home state of Texas and neighboring Oklahoma, as well as the Alaska caucuses, bolstering his argument that he has the best chance of stopping the New York billionaire. Rubio was the projected winner in Minnesota, his first victory in the party's nominating contest. Clinton rival Bernie Sanders, U.S. Senator from Vermont, also won his home state along with Colorado, Minnesota, and Oklahoma, but lost to Hillary in Massachusetts, which he had hoped to win. Sanders has vowed to pursue the battle for the nomination in the 35 states yet to vote. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Despite a long-held consensus pointing to the mid-20s as the final stage of brain maturation, a new study has found that the adolescent brain doesn't fully form until boys have avenged their father's murder.
New imaging studies suggest that the frontal cortex goes through extensive changes during the period of training when an adolescent boy prepares himself to track down and kill the man who took his father's life. But it's not until the boy stares deep into the murderer's eyes and then stabs him right in the heart that the 2 lobes fuse into a fully mature brain.
According to Dr. Laurie's findings, the myelin surrounding the teenage nerve synapses develops when boys stake out the home of their father's murderer, put themselves through grueling physical training, and fantasize again and again about how satisfying it will be when he finally makes the bastard who took everything from him beg for his life.
Now, if they let their father's killer slip through their grasp, or if they press the barrel of the gun to the back of his head and then realize they don't have what it takes to pull the trigger, then the amygdala is definitively stunted, and they'll have lifelong problems interpreting emotional information.
This is the Onion News Network.
We are back with our second half. Yeah. What the hell commercial did I just hear, guys?
Man,
What was that?
There's been some interesting ones.
If you don't get your parents a murderer, you're gonna grow up with mental problems. What was that? The Onion? Was that the Onion News
Yes,
Network?
It was. Yes,
Oh
it was.
man. Oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So how'd you guys like the break?
I needed one.
Good.
I think we're getting a call, guys. It's that time.
The bat phone. Inmate at Karma.
Prepaid collect call from
Who could it be?
an inmate at Parma Police Department. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
What's up, Dio?
What's happening, y'all?
Yo.
Not much.
Back for another installment from jail.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're gonna have you every week in this time slot. So this is just a big FU to them thinking that they were gonna mess up you being on the radio.
Hey, how was Always Sunny?
Well, especially to the assholes who were listening to the phone conversation.
Matt wants to know how tonight Sunny in Philadelphia was.
Pretty funny.
Last week's had me dying.
Today was actually a pretty good day because we got our commissary today. Had the best dinner they ever brought here in the whole world. But of course, count on these assholes to fuck up a good thing. We had sausage and peppers, and then they get noodles with it. No tomato sauce.
No tomato sauce.
Who the hell makes sausage and peppers and noodles and no tomato sauce? I swear, I'd like to meet the chef who's in charge of cooking food here because he doesn't know how to pair anything for shit.
They should put you in the kitchen, Dio.
If I get to be a trustee, maybe we'll see. But hopefully, I won't be here that long.
Is there any chance of that?
Probably not.
No. Oh well. It'd be nice if they let you bring a camera in and you could do Cooking with Copblock live from jail, live from Parma jail.
Another thing about that trustee thing is why the fuck would I do their work for them?
Absolutely.
Hey, when it comes to you getting out of your cell, getting off your block, and doing what you want to do, screw it if it's helping them. It's helping you. Look at it that way.
Well, hey, if we would have got another sausage for it, maybe I would have done it.
So is he still on the same block?
Yeah, then Sunny in Philadelphia came on, so it was almost for like a second, for like a half a second, I almost felt like I was home.
Yeah, you had some sausage and peppers, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's good. It's good. I like to hear your spirits high, man.
Yeah, days like this, they're good, but, like days like the other day, not so good. These guys, this guard that comes in here every night. He tosses my cell every single night. I've had a stack of envelopes in my cell since day one, and all of a sudden, I'm not allowed to have them.
What? Why?
He takes. Well, here's the kicker. Check this out. He takes the envelopes, right? Of course, I was pissed off because he took the envelopes. The next day we wake up, they take us out of the pods and stuff, and they stick us in this interview room. And there's glass in there, so you can see what's going on throughout the rest of the hallway and everything like that. They bring in the drug dogs and shit. They're searching the pods and stuff with the dogs.
Is this standard procedure? This is just this is what they do there. This is their regular thing.
I don't know what they were doing exactly, but there was it seemed like there was a cop here from another department in Ohio that it might have been a training thing. I don't know.
Oh, hey, here's some training. Destroy these guys' lives for the night.
The point of the whole thing is that the next day after they let us out, after they got done doing their search and everything like that, and they let us out, then they give me the envelopes back.
Well, those are envelopes that you actually purchased, so they can't really take those, can they?
Well, I didn't get them from the commissary and Damo bought them for me and brought them in, but they gave them to me on the first day I was here.
That's what I mean.
And like I said, they've known that they've been in my cell the whole time, and now all of a sudden...
They just want to mess with you.
Well, I think it might have had something to do with that search thing going on, too, because, like, it was funny that after they got done with the search, they gave them back, you know?
Yeah.
Huh.
It was really kind of, you know...
So is that the first time you've been shaken down since you've been in there?
Huh?
Is that the first time they shook you down since you've been in there?
Like that, yeah.
Man, well, hopefully that's the last. I only got one like that too, but that was because somebody actually narked on somebody and they shook down the whole block. But Derek wants to know. Derek wants to know what you got in your commissary. He asked what you got for dinner too, but I'll answer that. The dinner was sausage and peppers.
Yeah, I got, you know, chips and lifesavers and some ramen and stuff like that, so that when I get dry ass chicken and stuff like that, I can put it in, you know, cut it up, put it in the ramen.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. I mean, like, it's I don't see anything in jail being coincidental, so I don't see that you know, it was just a coincidence that they took the envelopes and then the next day they did a search and then gave them back right after they got done doing the search.
You think that they're just messing with you?
I don't know, messing with me, or maybe they were trying to read my mail that I was going to send out, because one of the envelopes had a letter in it. And when they took them originally, they took the letter out with it. And then when he came back and told me I couldn't have them, he brought it back, and I took the letter out of the envelope, kept the letter, and, you know, he kept the envelopes. So, you know...
Why do they think like you're this big bad... They think you're this... They think you're like this big bad something. I don't know.
The funny thing about it is that day I had a conversation on the phone with a Damo about giving my wife my passwords and stuff for my ATM and my computer and stuff like that, so that she could, you know, make sure that they don't overdraft me and stuff like that on my bank accounts while I'm in here. And I mean, in hindsight, to me, it looked like they were trying to get those passwords.
Oh, like maybe they listened and they saw that you were going to write stuff down.
Like that, so I can't say for sure this or that, but that's what it seemed like to me.
Wow, that seems.
Yeah, fucked up, isn't it?
I wouldn't put anything past the cops anymore. I really don't. I really thought some of it was a waste of their time, and like, hey.
You know, and especially after what I've been going through now, what I've gone through here, you know, like, I have no faith in the justice system anymore, no faith in cops, no faith in anything, because nothing works the way it's supposed to. Or maybe it works the way it's supposed to too good, you know?
Well, I wish it was some kind of consolation, but we won in our court case this week. So, I mean, I dedicated that to, a little bit toward justice, toward at least some kind of justice can be found somewhere. But you know what? None of the cops got in any trouble. It's never going to faze anybody. It's all just a real joke. Like, they ruin your lives, and it doesn't affect them at all.
No, it doesn't. You know, and I'll tell you, because the thing about being in here, too, is that what's very weird is the fact that you would think that this place would be, like, very regimented and stuff like that, but these people never do the same thing at the same time every day. It's like you'll get your food, like, at certain times every day, and, like, the next day it'll be a half an hour late, or, you know, like, it's never early, but the next day it'll be like a half an hour late. You know, it's like some of these guards lock you in at 11:45, some lock you in at 12 o'clock. One time they didn't lock us until 1 o'clock, but that was because they had some kind of problem. But, I mean, you would think that these things are supposed to be so regimented that shit like that would be, like, on a schedule, not up for negotiation, but apparently it's whatever the fuck they feel like doing.
Well, we're getting close to the commercial break. Is there any updates to your appeal or any updates from your lawyer?
Well, appeal's been filed. It's also been filed a motion to let me get out while the appeal is pending. So hopefully we'll hear back from that within a couple of days, week, whatever the hell. I mean, anything you hear back from that before 90 days is up, and it's pretty much a bonus. You know what I mean?
Well, we're gonna be wishing you luck on that. We'll We'll keep you in our hopes and our prayers up here, and we'll keep having you on the show. It's been great talking to you, Dio. We'll be right back.
Appreciate it.
Hey, we can keep talking for a minute, man. What's anything else new?
No, not much. I'm just pinning most of my hopes on that. Can I get out while my appeal is pending?
Has anybody sent you any mail?
A couple people did, not many. I got a couple letters last Tuesday and nothing since. So.
Well, anybody who's watching the YouTube stream, the story of Dio's arrest will be on the Copblock. You can find it on copblock.org or find it on the radio page, and it has his address. He would love to hear from anybody. Write in, just show your support. I mean, it gets boring sitting in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's great to get letters in here. It's very encouraging. It gives a little hope, little pick me up.
Yeah, Ademo comes to visit you at least once a week, right?
Yeah, he comes to visit whenever he can.
Awesome. Well,
a couple other people have come to visit. Some guy was at, I think his name was Paul. He was at Liberty Forum, I guess, and on his way back from New Hampshire, he stopped in, said hello and stuff. We had a nice little conversation.
That's cool. So you weren't even expecting him.
No, had no idea he was coming. Ademo told me like the night before he was going to come.
That's cool, man. Well, it sounds like you're getting a lot of support, and I really hear your spirits high. So I'm glad to hear that, man. Keep your head up. Don't let them bring you down. Don't let them shaking down your cell bring you down. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You're a month in, man. You're a month in.
It's tough because that shit is very demoralizing when that happens. Like especially when you know what I mean. Like the way I look at it, I'm a model prisoner. I don't cause any problems for these guards. I'm not motherfucking them every chance I get. I'm basically sitting here doing my time and trying to get it done, do it as fast as possible. But the shit like that is just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
These bastards, these scumbag cocksuckers, they already tried to stop my getting out pending my appeal by saying that I was, because they, of course, record and monitor conversations. They were saying that I said something on here that was inappropriate or something, so they're trying to use it to tell, the court that I shouldn't be allowed out while the appeal is pending. So, I mean, it's not just a punishment of being in jail. They're trying to hurt me.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
So they're trying to demoralize me. They're trying to take my spirit down. They're trying to make me crack,
Well, keep your head up, man. I mean, I have faith that they're gonna let you out for your appeal, and even if they don't, you're close. I mean, you just got a month down already, man. You're already a month in.
Yeah, 22 days.
So that's one down. A couple more to go.
Tomorrow will be the 22nd day, so.
Oh, so just over 3 weeks.
Yeah. But all right, man. I'm gonna let you go because we're about to come back in.
All right. Have a good show.
You too, man.
Love you guys, all of you.
Later.
All right. Love you too, man.
All right.
Later.
Hey, do we have guests coming in?
Yeah, we do.
All right. I can't send them the thing, so.
We are back. We talked to Dio right up until we came back, so anybody who wants to see that has to go check out the YouTube stream if you're listening on the LRN feed. Matt, you had something breaking, right?
Yeah, well, no, not breaking, but just to go off of us talking to Dio. Also, Scott Marshall, if you remember him from earlier, has set up a little something. It's a very limited something, but he has shirts. They say Free Dio across them. The Oath Accountability Project, he is putting 100% of the cost to make them and ship them to Dio's commissary, phones, basically, or his appeals fund. So I don't know how many he's making, but if you want to get one of these shirts and donate to Dio, you go to Oath Accountability on Facebook and just message the site.
So wait, he's gonna give 100% of the proceeds to Dio.
Yes.
Oh wow, I might take one. Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Nice. Well, we have a special guest joining us out of Texas Copblock. Joseph Ty. You're the founder of Texas Copblock, correct?
Not actually. The Facebook page was already there, but the previous guy just kind of got burned out, and I was looking to found a Copblock group, and so I just kind of took over Texas Copblock.
Well, since taking over, you made some waves out there. I mean, Texas is out of control. That's where the Peaceful Streets Project is out of, isn't it?
Yeah, Peaceful Streets Project started in Austin, and we've got Sandra Bland case, and we've got a lot going on in Texas.
Really? I mean, it's you guys are on trial, actually, right?
Yes, I'm currently facing 2 charges, and we've got a lot of guys right now working with police accountability that are facing charges. We've had a lot of guys in the police accountability movement in Texas that have already beat a lot of charges, and we're all trying to work our way through them, but there's a big war right now out in Texas on the cop blockers and on those working in the police accountability movement.
Yeah, it's scary. I was following the updates for your trial. Derek, have you been following this? Has either one of you guys been following what's happening there?
Yeah.
No. Of what are you accused, Joseph?
The catch-all in Texas is interfering with public duties, which interfering with public duties is whatever they say it is.
Yeah, I've been accused of that. They have that pretty much everywhere. It's like, oh, government administration, we're so important. It couldn't be that we're ever doing anything wrong, and you possibly even interfering with that could be justice. But what is it that you were doing? Just filming the police?
I was filming the arrest of another gentleman that just gotten arrested for interfering with public duties.
How are they trying to make the case that recording something is interfering? Because to my knowledge, like, just standing there with the camera couldn't possibly interfere unless you're like physically in between where someone's walking and where they want to be.
Unfortunately, they did make the case. The guy that was getting arrested just went to trial today. Joseph's case was delayed, so he hasn't gone to court yet. But the other guy that you were there with just got sentenced today, and they pulled a Dio on him. They totally did what they did to Dio to him, and they made a cop blocker. They put the cop blocker on trial and not the person.
Yep.
They put cop block on trial is what they did. Then they made cop blockers out to be terrorists and horrible people that target police and harm the community. And
cowards.
And they pumped up the jury. I mean, Joe, you were there. You were there from this. Tell us from your point of view. I was just following the updates from you, actually, but I mean, I was disgusted with what I was hearing.
One of the things they did is we called in a expert witness, and the expert witness is a Marine that actually had combat experience in Somalia, and the DA tried to relate Arlington, Texas, to Somalia, and relate it to a combat zone, and relate a traffic stop to being in combat.
That's a new one.
They had to, yes, literally as bad as it sounds.
Oh my God.
And they had to put out a security perimeter at the maximum effective range of, at the maximum effective range of any weapons that anyone on scene could possibly have. And my thought with this, as a former combat veteran, is my maximum effective range with a rifle I can buy off the shelf at a local sporting goods store is easily 500 yards. Does that mean I can't be within 500 yards of a police officer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that would mean.
Yeah.
So did someone make that argument? I mean, did you point out how ridiculous that is?
And it was literally so bad that the prosecution objected to the defense lawyer when he brought up the Constitution. They literally objected to the Constitution.
Well,
And
that's not news.
Oh my god.
The look on the judge's face was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're objecting to the Constitution?
The judge actually was surprised. Sometimes the judge is fine with that.
Well, sometimes the judge is fine with that. Even this judge was really surprised at that. I mean, he allowed a lot of things. He allowed the lies, he allowed the twisting, and all the things we've come to expect in court. But he was surprised when they objected to the U.S. Constitution.
Well, I guess their argument was it's not a federal court, right? So the federal Constitution shouldn't apply. It should just be Texas. What was their argument?
They didn't have any argument.
We don't like the Constitution, Your Honor. So throw it out.
The Constitution goes against our argument. Therefore, we object.
But meanwhile,
there's got to be video of this.
Meanwhile, they can put every single cop blocker, anyone who claims to be a cop blocker's actions into one person and like say that he's this terrible person. They're allowed to say whatever they want, but the defense isn't allowed to bring certain arguments in.
And you've got to realize.
You've got to tell me.
You've got to realize he was over 60 feet away from the traffic stop, and he was interfering from 60 feet away.
Well, sadly, did it have something to do with him open carrying too?
Yeah, he was open carrying a replica of a pre-1899 black powder revolver, which in the state of Texas and most states is entirely legal because it's not considered a firearm. And he was also hit with display of a firearm or other weapon in a manner calculated to cause alarm.
And it wasn't in and let's be clear, it was in his holster, holstered, clipped, and his hand never reached for it. It wasn't like he was trying to scare anyone with it. He was simply standing there with an openly displayed gun, which is perfectly legal.
Which is perfectly legal, yes.
But they charged him for menacing with his gun.
Tied down.
Well, what about them? Don't they have guns?
Yeah, right.
They have guns. Exactly, and they have guns that are easy to access. And one of the officers reached for a gun during this encounter. And
okay, well, so they're guilty too, right?
Oh, but they were.
That's aggravated assault.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to hit somebody to get that.
It didn't end there. They did it. They went full Dio on him and got 12 jurors.
6
jurors to convict him.
Where's the video?
Now they got now he's got to serve 90 days in jail. But we'll be right back with more stories out of Texas on Copblock Radio. Hey Joe, if you want, I don't know what kind of time you have. If you want to stay on for the next segment, you're welcome to. We're going to be talking about Brett Sanders.
Yeah. Limited what I can say on his case, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss what happened. And did you hear about this yet, Derek?
Yeah, I watched the video. Hey, do you prefer Joe or Joseph?
Go by Joe, generally.
Okay, Joe, where is the video of court?
In Texas, you can't take video in court.
That's Pennsylvania.
That's not what I asked.
Okay, if I showed you video right now, the person that took it, they would determine from where we were sitting, which we were all in a certain section. We weren't allowed to sit in other sections. They would determine who took it.
Don't say anything that could get anybody in trouble.
Well, would they determine it through video that they were taking themselves?
They don't take video.
So then you couldn't prove that a shadow of a doubt who took the video.
Yeah. And if it's just audio,
not saying we're doing that, not saying to do that, but just clear.
Yeah, hypothetically, there could be audio as well that would do the job.
Hypothetically, there could be audio, and I'm not going to say there is or isn't.
All right, thank goodness. I would love to get inside some of these courtrooms that I can't reach physically, so is I hear some of the craziest stories about what goes on in there, and I know I believe it because I've seen some of it myself, but I think it needs to get out.
In New Hampshire, you're allowed to film in the courtrooms?
Absolutely, without question, yes.
Oh, man.
You can have as many cameras as you want.
Another reason to move to New Hampshire. It really bothers me that you can't film. Like, that's supposed to be our constitutional right. If there's anywhere we should be allowed to film, it should be the courts. Because that's where justice is supposed to happen.
So, like, it's an open courthouse. Anyone can attend. And it's like, okay, well, why? What about the people who can't attend? Can I take video for them? Well, no, you know. You're like, well, why not? It's open, right? Like, what's the problem?
Well, especially up there in New Hampshire, you guys live in a completely different style of state than we do. I mean, we're a commonwealth. So
I don't get what's the difference.
Our judges don't really, the laws, they don't exactly have to follow them to the letter. They can make shit up on the fly and get away with it. It just gives them...
Oh, well, that's the same everywhere.
The Commonwealth
but they actually backing.
Being a Commonwealth state basically just means that they're 10 times harder on us.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. New Hampshire's pretty good. Actually, New Hampshire sucks because New Hampshire is the name of the gang that lives there. The Shire is awesome. The Shire I consider to be the place. New Hampshire is the gang.
All I gotta do is convince my wife, and we're gone.
Yeah.
She loves her job though, and that's something hard to find.
Doesn't she do digital stuff? Can't she do that from a distance?
Her real full-time job is she works at Amazon.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's some Amazon.
They have Amazons up there?
Yeah. Maybe. The Boston area or something.
Yeah. Well,
sir, I still need to order the computer parts.
I know.
Pretty sweet. The Shire is sweet. You'll see at Porkfest. You get a taste of it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Me too.
Coming back in 5. We are back. We have Joe out of Texas Copblock. Just was witness to injustice in his courts. I was talking a little bit to Joe about possibility of him taking a deal on his case, and I like his stand. We need a lot of brave souls out there like him that's willing to stand, and regardless to the injustice. So, what's your feeling going into your court case?
My feeling is pretty good. We've got a good lawyer. We've got good stance, and the prosecution is really standing on shaky ground, going against me. So.
Well, I can't wait to hear about that. Did you get an update on when you're actually going?
No, I don't have an update yet. So I don't have any idea when I'm going for my first or second case.
Why'd they delay you and not the other guy?
After his case, mine got delayed, and we're still have several cases pending in this same courtroom with the same prosecutor.
Wow. Well, we wanted to have you stick around, and because you were first-hand witness of another Texas incident that happened over this week, and it was pretty well known. Brett Sanders, kind of a super activist of the sorts. I don't know if he calls himself an activist or a patriot. I mean, you know him personally, right?
Oh, Brett's a great guy.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel. It's Brett Sanders on YouTube, and he's just one of those guys that knows his rights really, really well. I don't know that he doesn't call it cop blocking per se. He considers what he does just, as far as I know, just like his duty as an American to stand up for what's right and to stop the police state. and he does a pretty good job at it. His channel has tons and tons of videos, but over the weekend he took a stand on open carrying, and he was arrested live across the internet via Cell 411, and it was a really, really big deal because this was the first ever live arrest on Cell 411, and the platform worked perfectly. I was actually, surprisingly enough, in Pennsylvania, 1,000 miles away, and I got his alert saying that he was cop blocking, and then I got a second alert moments later saying he was live streaming, and I opened it up to see him arrested. And within moments, I ran over to the computer. I had posted it. Joe had contacted me because he knew him, and within minutes, there were people scrambling to get all the information, to get stories up, to get people to make calls, and they were determined to keep Brett in overnight, and they ended up releasing him within, what, like 2 hours, wasn't it?
Well, after we got all the information and got a good lawyer involved, after the lawyer got involved, he was released within probably 45 minutes.
Yeah, I had the
Oh, wow.
opportunity. I had the opportunity to actually talk to Brett a little bit, and it was kind of funny. The lawyer couldn't get through because there were so many supporters that saw what happened, that saw the stories going up on the internet. It went instantly viral, pretty much. There were so many people calling that the lawyer couldn't get through. So it really shows the power of public opinion right there. Like, this was just, it was huge, and it was just, everything happened perfectly in line with the idea of what Cell 411 was for, which is watching each other's backs.
Yep.
And having a record of what happened in case the unthinkable happens. Someone gets arrested for a bad call. And that's exactly what happened. He was picked up for live across the internet for not answering questions. They came up to him because he was open carrying. They demanded to see some paperwork that he was allowed to open carry. And Joe, you know the laws up there a little better. Well, this is like a recent law that went into effect in Texas, right? That they can ask for this paperwork.
Now, the new open carry law that just passed in Texas, they went into effect on January 1st. They state that an officer can request your paperwork if you're seen open carrying, and they can request your government permission slip showing that you have permission of the government to exercise a unalienable right. And of course, I don't have to tell you that's just nonsense in and of itself.
So basically, their position is you don't have a right to remain silent and anonymous if you want to exercise your other right to bear arms.
That's the position of the government. However, as we all know, the case law, long-standing case law on this is that until you're lawfully detained, you're not required to show ID. And Texas is not a stop and ID state. Therefore, without having probable cause, they can't stop him and force him to ID, and they can't detain him. So that defeats anything they may come up with.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre that they were able to get this passed. Is this like a town ordinance, or is this a statewide law that went into effect?
This is a statewide law that says you're allowed to open carry if you have a license. And despite the police trying to spread false rumors that he doesn't have a license, he does. And he is licensed by the state to open carry.
But that wasn't the issue.
It shouldn't matter, frankly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
He was taking a stand. From what I understand, he's taking a stand saying, doesn't matter if I'm licensed or not. I wasn't breaking any rules. Therefore, I don't need to submit to any of your questions at all. Correct?
And the fact is, they had no probable cause to detain him. They had no probable cause to bother him, to do anything. Therefore, anything from then on is illegal. And his case is quite possibly going to set precedent in the Fifth Circuit Court.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be really big because Texas is huge on its gun rights. I've known some people from Texas in my lifetime, and it's like a different breed there. You guys love your guns. You like don't mess with Texas's guns. Like I know that everybody in Texas seems to carry too. It's something that's widely known. And strangely enough, there's not any mass shootings in Texas.
Yeah, it's strange how that works out.
Yeah, strange how that works out. If anybody steps out of line, everybody around them's armed, so it's not going to last very long. But so I don't know how a Texas government could pass something like this. Did they sneak this wording in under something else to get this passed? Like this was a surprise when it hit, or was this something put up to a vote?
It was put up to a vote, but it was done at the last minute. It was really lousily done, but this was the only way that we could get open carry passed during this term. So we're still working on getting full constitutional carry passed. The issue is Texas is actually, we Texans, the people, love their gun rights, but the Texas government doesn't. And we still had no open carry of pistols in Texas up until this law was passed. And we had only recently here, not too long ago, did we actually have concealed carry passed in Texas. We were still operating under the old Jim Crow gun laws.
Oh, wow.
Well, it sounds like if anybody was going to take this on, it should have been somebody, a high-profile person like Brett, that was able to, that's going to be able to get enough community support together and enough people aware of what's happening that, yeah, like you said, maybe this will set some case law and enable exact wording to be said that they can't just stop you. Because basically what they did was turn Texas into a stop and identify state.
That's what they tried to do, yes.
Well, I'm glad you guys are out there. I thank you so much for your service. You can find Texas Copblock on Facebook. And do you guys have a YouTube?
No, we don't have a YouTube.
Oh, you can find them on Facebook. They have a really active Facebook page. We thank you for joining, Joe. And we wish you luck in your battles. We hope to hear more back from you soon.
Yeah,
we'll
man,
be right back.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. All right.
This is our last commercial break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one of those three stories do you want to do?
Yeah, how do we do that? Oh, I know, because we talked.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I like the last one. But I also like the broomstick.
Well, I have to actually mention both the ones that are scheduled. So why don't I'll mention them both and we'll talk more about the broomstick one.
Okay. So start with the other one.
Because they're already posted, so I have to actually mention them.
Okay, well, I would start with the one that's last, because we want to talk about the other one more, right?
I was gonna wait. What were you saying?
If we're talking about the broomstick more, we should do that story last.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Okay.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Been a long day. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So we got
easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for lrn.fm in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to lrn.fm. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
Instead of just listening, you can also watch. See the Liberty Radio Network's Keene, New Hampshire-based live shows via our studio cam at cam.lrn.fm. Plus, you'll still be able to listen to the Liberty Radio Network via the cam feed in high quality 24/7, even when there's no live show being produced in our Keene studio. But wait, there's more. Our chat room is built into the cam page so you can interact with other listeners online. Listen, watch, and chat, all free at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
We are back with our last segment of the night.
Woo!
We're just going to blow through a couple stories that we wanted to touch on. You can read more about all these stories on the Copblock Radio Facebook page. The first story is out of Cumberland County, North Carolina. A woman calls 911 for fear of a pervert cop that was snooping on her. And when the cops show up...
She meant to dial 411?
911. When the cops showed up to help her, they killed her dog. We heard about dead dogs time and time again. Seems a little retaliatory. She calls on another cop, and this happens. But the full story is up on the radio show page. So go ahead and
killing people's dogs. Come on.
I know. I'm beyond sick of it. Like, why is this okay? Like, why are they telling cops that it's okay to shoot animals?
No. Why is anyone saying it's okay to call 911? I don't blame a lion when he eats a lamb. You know, cops are going to shoot dogs. It's what they do. We should all know that by now. If you don't want them to shoot your dog, don't call a cop. End story.
You
know what could happen. This is not news anymore.
With what goes around, even with what the average person sees, you got to be kind of. I got to agree. You got to kind of blame the person who calls the cops when something bad goes down, because you know that these people are untrained, they're trigger happy, they're going to show up, and they escalate things, and they like to get real hyper, and you never know what's going to show up when you dial that call. It might be Mr. Community Calm Cop that wants to calm everything down. It also might be steroid pumped up cop that wants to inflict some authority into the situation violently.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I'm not trying to say I don't have empathy. I mean, I'm sorry for the dog. It's sad when dogs are shot. That's obviously not okay. But
I just don't understand. I mean, this is not this is not something that everyone else doesn't deal with. That, like, this is specific for cops, that, like, they have to encounter these dangerous animals and they have to have these special rules. I don't understand. Everyone encounters dogs. Delivery men, mailmen. Mailmen get bit all the time. Mailmen's jobs are dangerous. They carry mace, and they figure out how to deal with dogs every single day.
And they carry dog treats.
Yeah.
And they don't even have utility belts.
Yeah, they learn their neighborhoods. They learn where the dogs are. They understand that when they approach a house with a dog, to approach with caution. Delivery guys, too. People without college educations, high school kids that deliver pizzas every day, encounters people's dogs. You don't need to shoot them when you get scared.
Yep.
It baffles me. It honestly does. It seems almost intentional to me.
That or they're just some cowards, motherfuckers.
Well, the second story is out of Minnesota, Ramsey County, Minnesota.
This one's a ridiculous story.
A cop assigned to investigate a jewelry theft solves the case. Yay! Recovers the items. Yay! And then he pawns them. Boo.
What a jackass.
Well, we haven't named the douchebag of the week. I think we might have found him.
Douchebag of the week.
I'm trying to find his name because we got to call him out. Rudnick.
Yep.
A Ramsey County detective, Rudnick. What a piece of garbage. How are you going to do that and think that you're going to get away with it?
Well, no. It gets so much better. It gets so much better in the sense of this. But listen, so it's not like he just got some cheap stuff. Like one of the items that he pawned was over $11,000. It was a ring. Now, he waited until the statute of limitations was up to sell this stuff. Now, granted, because that was for the selling of it, but the theft didn't reach the statute of limitations, so he got charged with that. Well, he retired beforehand, so he kept his pension. And then, on top of that, turns around and he pleads guilty to a deal of just a simple theft, and he did 1 day in jail, of which he spent 5 hours locked up, and then he was let go. The rest of it, time served. 11,000 was just one item. Like, that's grand larceny. And then the topper of it all, limitations was waited for the sale to happen. The family doesn't even get their items back of which he pawned.
Well, there's a GoFundMe attached to that story, and I believe it's for the family trying to hire an attorney, a third party, to try to get their rights to get some of that property back.
Yep.
So that story is up on the radio page, so if you have a couple of dollars and want to throw it to that GoFundMe, sounds like the family really got screwed, and the cop got away with it, of course.
Every time.
Every time. Well, our final story of the night is another senseless killing at the hands of the police. A man holding a broomstick up in the air with his hands in the air with the broomstick, shot and killed by police.
And it wasn't even like it was something that he was doing anything wrong. He was standing there, and they told him to stop. He turned around with the broom still in his hands, and he was shot.
Well,
they only
it's
yelled
not
once.
This isn't the same as every other story, though. People had enough, and the onlookers nearly broke out into a riot to get to the officers to attack back. They flipped out. People all around flipped out, and it's really getting to a boiling point.
Well, one, the kid was a Kenyan immigrant. His name was Adabi Muhammad. Two, he was 17 years old. Like, he wasn't even an adult yet. They shot a minor. Like, that takes it to a whole nother level.
He said he was holding part of his friend that was there said he was holding part of a broomstick at his side when officers ran up, told him to put it down once before they started shooting at him as he turned around. We were trying to break it up before the police even came, but the police ran up on foot and pulled their guns out already, Salim Muhammad said. They had already had them, like, as soon as they started running, he was grabbing for his gun. They didn't even try to tase him or anything. He said, drop it, then boom, boom. The witnesses said the police fired 4 times, hitting the team in the chest and stomach. The police said that following the shooting, a lot of hostile people upset about what had taken place were throwing rocks and bottles at the officers, and hit at least one of them. This prompted almost 100 additional officers with neighboring departments to arrive on scene to assist the officers with riot shields and batons. Yeah, they called their
really,
gang
how
back
how
up.
did they think that? Well, really, how did they think that was going to play out? You think you can throw rocks at the police? Like, that's a good idea? I mean, you won't find a sympathizer in me, but, like, really, you throw rocks at people, what do you think's going to happen? If they're cops or if they're not, there's going to be a retaliation.
I mean, to me, in a civilized society, if a group of people stand around and watch someone execute someone else, you need to get him. You need to stop that person. You don't just let him walk away.
Well, that's what they were attempting to do. It looks like they were called because there was a fight, and if this guy's got a half a broomstick in his hand, he could have executed somebody. I'm not saying shooting him is the right thing to do, but stopping him certainly is.
Yeah. No, I don't think, I'm not with the cops at all, and I think that this was another situation where they needlessly killed someone, and the crowd had enough and wanted to get justice.
But the crowd was there before the cops showed up. There was a fight going on. That's why the police were called.
I guess we'll...
There was a fight. I mean, there was a fight, and one guy had a broomstick. What do you think he was doing with it? I mean, if that bashed you in the head, you'd die.
I guess I could see where you're coming from, but I don't see why the cops need to show up with deadly force for a stick.
No, I'm with you. It could have been
They
lethal.
didn't try
It probably
any mace.
wasn't.
They didn't. I mean, if there was a lot of people around, it sounds like they ran up with guns drawn.
If we wrote the book, Severin, if we wrote the book, obviously they would first try and be like, put that down, please stop, and then maybe they would escalate to mace, or then maybe they would escalate to tasers, and then finally, if there's no other option, they're backed into a corner, then maybe guns. Oh, we're okay.
Well, we're
Right,
going
we gotta
out.
wrap it up.
You can catch us next week with another episode at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on LRN.FM. We didn't get to plug ourselves, but you can find me at Lehigh Valley Copblock on YouTube and on Facebook.
eDirectory.com.
You can find me on Facebook at Carbon County Copblock, and we hope to see you next week for a very presidential show.
Yeah, next week has a
Why's that?
special surprise guest. We'll be back next week. Thanks for tuning in.